Welcome to the Tall Girl Tuesday podcast. It's your girl Danny, and on today's episode of News and Libations, it is sponsored by Hood Star Luxury. Now, today's drink of choice for this episode of Tall Girl Tuesday is an 1800 margarita. Actually, an 1800 coconut margarita brought to us by Hood Star Luxury. And Hood Star Luxury is a fashion designer and wardrobe stylist. Season 10 of HSL is coming this September, so be sure to check that out. And be sure to also follow him for more information. His social media handles is Hood Star Luxury. And in today's episode, I will be discussing how to deal with adult friendships or relationships that become troublesome, or wondering how do you guys deal with them. Now, of course, this is coming off of a season of Insecure where Molly and Issa have been having some trouble with their friendship and, getting along with each other. And it seems at this point, they're in two different walks of life, and Molly's looking for stability and she wants to be in a committed relationship. She's trying to focus on that. And Issa is out here grinding, more concerned about her job and, putting on for her community. So they seem to have some disconnection somewhere in their friendship. So I'm just wondering, how do you guys deal with situations like that? I'm sure most of you have seen the season. And if you haven't, where have you been? Get from underneath that rock. Let's talk about it. And, it's tough, especially when you have a best friend that's your ride or die, and y'all been riding and dying for so long, and then all of a sudden it's just like, where are we? What happened to us? And what's going to happen from here moving forward? It's troubling. And I'm wondering if all relationships have that awkward phase where it's like a disconnection between you and the person. So I'm just wondering, is that something that people deal with? Is that something that's to be expected once you become an adult and trying to maintain friendships? Is that something that is something that's manageable? Now, for me personally, it's an interesting topic because a lot of times my friendships fall apart because I feel like they're very one-sided in favor of the other person. It's like I'm always the one that I'm the go-to person. Oh, I'm bored. Let me hit Danny, see what she's doing. Let me come over. Or I'm going out and I don't want to go out by myself, so let me see if she's free. She's usually free. Let me see if she wants to go. I feel like I'm that person for a lot of people, and that becomes tiresome as well. And it's like, in return, if I hit this person up or that person with, the same intent, or if my intentions are to, kick it and spend some time too, because, I'm trying to be in your space. I'm trying to, party with you, kick it with you, whatever. It's not received well often. And then oftentimes it's like, I can literally just be doing my own thing at my house or in my backyard. And it's always, oh, well, why didn't you invite me? Why didn't you hit me up? But you were the same person who was out last weekend. Where was my call? Where was my text? Where was my invite? So it's like, a lot of times I feel like people expect things from me that I can't in return ask from them or receive from them. And that becomes a problem for me. And once I get to that point, it's no coming back from that. It's hard to, it's hard for me to move on and move forward from there. A couple years ago, I was dating a guy and he basically told me about my passive aggressive behavior. And it was it wasn't in an argument or anything, just a straight up talk. Listen, if something is bothering you, why don't you say anything? Or why do you always just let things go and just let things be? And then is a possibility that you might bring it up in a week or two, not even like on some angry stuff, but more like, well, this is what you did, and that's how I was feeling a way about it. And that person was like, well, why didn't you tell me this while it was happening so we can fix it? And honestly, I didn't really have an answer. I don't know if I'm passive aggressive or more like just non-confrontational. I tried to be back then. But I learned a lot from that situation. And it's like, maybe I'm doing myself more harm by just being all laid back about it, or just like brushing it off and acting like it doesn't matter to me when it actually does. So I kind of like adapted the attitude where it's like, listen, if I got a problem with you now, I'm going to tell you, or you will know how I'm feeling. If I care enough, I have to care first. Let's start with that. So I'm just wondering, like, how do you guys deal with situations that come up like this? A lot of my friends are men, and I know a lot of women say that, and y'all just assume that I'm talking strictly platonic, like my guys, like my brothers for real, and like the dynamic is different, and it's like not saying that it's less emotional, but I feel like people don't really listen to understand. They just listen to have a response and a reaction. And that's where I feel like a lot of friendships and relationships become a problem, because everybody wants to like have a rebuttal or a comeback to what you said. And it's like a lot of pettiness going on, and a lot of, but you did this, but you said that. And it's like that's just never going to, it's never going to end well or be successful with two like basically bullheaded people who just want to be right all the time. I'm not that person. I don't really want to be right all the time, but I also don't want to sit here and argue and spend any type of energy being angry or upset, because it's like I don't have it in me. Like, you got it. If that's how you feeling, if you bring it to me, if I feel like I was being unjust, okay, I'll apologize, and all right, so we gonna keep it moving or what? But I don't know. I just want to know, like, how do you guys deal with friendships that become troublesome? Like, I know there's levels to friendships. Number one, like, you have to actually feel a connection with this person, or feel, like you care enough to even move forward. Like, you gotta like outweigh the good and bad, and figure out if this is somebody that you want to work on things with. And I'm mainly talking about platonic relationships. This might sound like I'm talking about like committed sexual, we together. And I'm really not. I'm really more so thinking of, like I said, in terms of that last season of Insecure. But I feel like it's all relative, because just because you're not sexually involved with a person doesn't mean you can't have these strong feelings towards them, or feelings towards anything that they have said or done that bothered you. And how do you move forward from there? Some people are just like one and done. You crossed me or you betrayed me, I can't mess with you like that anymore. But other people are like, more like, let's see if we can work it out. Let's see what's happening. Let's see if we can move forward from here. And yeah, like, what's your style of dealing with confrontation or troublesome friendships? How do you deal with that? I want to know about that. Make sure you guys, respond to the kid. Let me know what you think. What are your thoughts about the season of Insecure, and about, my take on things, or my attitude towards how I deal with things that kind of blow up in my own personal relationships. But I don't know. I guess it's all like, it depends on the situation. It depends who the person is. For me, it depends on how long I've known them, because honestly, like if you're a friend of mine, I consider you a friend, and we've only been friends for like a year or two, and we continue to have issues, it's time for me to walk away. Like it's not worth it to me for somebody I still just met and it's still fresh to me to continue to go through things like that. Like it has to be a point where you realize like we just don't mesh well together and I can't rock with you, and the way you vibe is not the way I vibe, and just call it what it is. Like all friendships aren't meant to last forever and ever. There's a reason and a season. And I think the more that I realize that as I get older and I am more conscious about what type of energy I put out, I'm okay with deciding that a friendship is not for me. And that's okay. I'm not like ashamed of it or afraid to be like, dang, I done lost another friend. No, that's not the situation with me. Especially for somebody who's like new on the scene. It's not going to happen. So I don't want to know, how do you guys feel? Does it matter the length of the friendship with the person, which will determine how you choose to move forward with them? Or is it more like, I don't care who it is, I'm not with it. If you do something that pisses me off, I'm out? Or is it more like you're just a forgiving person? And I'm kind of that way too. I like forgive and forgive, and it's not really always a good thing. But I don't hold too much. Like, I'm not trying to be mad or angry with a person. That takes way more energy. But I'll forgive you. I don't necessarily have to rock with you anymore. So that's the difference for me. Like, I can say hi and bye and keep it moving if we're in the same social circle. But it's apparent that we're not friends. We can be friendly with each other, but we don't have to be friends. And like I said, I do feel like a lot of times people use me at their convenience. And that's been something I feel like I've been struggling with for years and years. And it's like, what is it about me that people just want to be bothered only when they want to, or when they've exhausted all of their other opportunities, or they've exhausted all of their other, people in their Rolodex to go hang out with, or to go spend some time with. And I'm like, I mean, that's unfair, but I pick up on things like that too. I might not say something right away, but it's like you'll know. But I guess some of that passive aggressiveness is still in me, because I'll just stop answering the phone. Or if you try to like, oh, you home? I was going to come by and see you. It's like, oh no, I'm busy, or something like that. Sometimes I'll just say that rather than just sit here and go through all the reasons why I don't want you in my space, or I don't want to hang out with you. I feel like it's a cop out that way sometimes, but honestly, I guess it depends on the type of energy I'm getting from the person. Like I said, everybody is not even worth having that type of conversation with, because it takes a lot of energy, and you have to know who the person is. You have to know yourself. Like, are you willing to understand that point of view? Are you willing to accept that maybe you overreacted a little bit and it wasn't that serious? It all depends on the type of relationship that you have with that person. For me, anyway, it all depends what type of relationship I have with that person. But it's easy for me to cut people off. I don't. It's easy. I don't keep people around who don't want to be kept. So now, if you keep coming to me and you like trying to make a relationship, friendship work that is obviously not working, then at some point I'm going to have to say, look, this is the reason why I don't feel like we can be friends. And at some point it's just a matter of just keeping it real with a person. And that's it. But I want to know what you guys think about that. How do you handle situations like this? I'm excited to see what the next season is going to come. What's going to come of the next season of Insecure. How will they bounce back from this, even if they do? I doubt that Molly's going to not be on the show, because she is, a major part of it. So I'm just curious to see how they bounce back from this, and if this will be a learning lesson for me or something I can apply to my life as well moving forward. But we all know how Insecure goes. It could be a year before we get the new season. Who knows? Who really knows? But yeah, just let me know what you guys think. Hit me up on my email. I want to start doing some like live reactions or responses, going live and just answering your guys' comments and responses. So yeah, the email address is tgtthepodcast@gmail.com. Certainly hit me up on there or send me the voice memo that's on Anchor once the episode airs. Let me know what you think, how you feel about that. Do you think that I'm crazy for the way I choose to handle my friendships? Like, do you still feel like I'm passive aggressive, although I feel like I've grown from it? Let me know what you think. You know, I'm open to all criticism always. So I'll be looking forward to your responses. And this was just quick. I wanted to just jump on here, just a little quick news and libations. Shout out again to Hoodstar Luxury for sponsoring this episode. Don't forget to follow him on social media. Hit him up. He's fly as hell. So if you need a fit, that's the one to see. And next week, we got some fire for you.